What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk all about how to get your first photography job, what to do before, during, after, all that sort of stuff. I'm also going to briefly go over pricing and all of that and everything that goes into that, so stick around if you want to learn more about that, and let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do before you even reach out to any companies is make a portfolio. You should have been practicing getting better on your own with personal projects, so you should have a lot of pictures to put together and a wide range of pictures to put together. For instance, on my portfolio, I have a section for dark images, I have a section for light images, and now I have a section for commercial images that I've done. I've sectioned my portfolio off like that just so companies can look through exactly what they're wanting instead of looking through all my work together and trying to hunt for that specific style that they're wanting or the range that they're looking for. You might be thinking that in order to create a portfolio, you need to buy a website domain and build your own website yourself and do all that hard work and all that research, and it's gonna take a long time to do, but you really don't have to put all that much time and effort into it. There's a lot of good website builders that you can use for free, and they work perfectly for your portfolio or anything that you're really wanting to do. I would suggest just using a free online website builder. They're really easy to use, all of them are super user-friendly, and there's a ton in the market, so you're not gonna have any trouble at all finding one that works for you. I've been using Wix.com and it's worked really well. I haven't tried a lot of other website builders, but I'm sure there's so many others that you can use that are gonna be really easy to figure out. The next thing that I would do before even contacting companies is create a template message that you can send in bulk to a lot of different companies. Obviously, you do want to personalize it a bit to each company because each one's gonna have different needs that you can fulfill. But I would create just a standard template of here, this is my name, this is what I do, and this is what I can do for you. It makes it really fast and really easy to reach out to these companies and to make it very clear right from the get-go what you can do for them and what you think they can improve on. Along with this template message, you want to make sure when you're reaching out to companies that you have specific examples ready of what you can do to improve their images and their content that they have, whether that's on their websites, Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Don't message them if you don't think you can actually improve their content, because they're gonna know right off the bat that you actually can't really offer them much. So don't even reach out unless you have a firm understanding of what you can do and what your capabilities are and what the company can be doing to improve. Now, when it comes to deciding what companies to reach out to, I really suggest reaching out to smaller companies first when you're starting out, because you're more likely to get a response and more likely to get a job from them, because they're usually the ones that need the improvement in their pictures. When you do reach out to these companies, I would suggest reaching out on all platforms. For instance, a lot of companies will have a DM section, whether that's Instagram or Facebook, and they will also have like an email section on their website or even in their bios where you can click on that, send them an email or send them an automated message through their website. This just increases your chances of getting a response from them, and it kind of just gets more in their face. If they don't see their Instagram on a certain day, they might see their email, and then it's more likely to follow up quicker. On top of reaching out over multiple platforms, I would also suggest you reach out multiple times. A lot of companies will, it's terrible, but they will drag their feet and they won't get back to you, and they'll forget that you messaged them, and they just won't remember to respond to your emails or your messages. This has happened to me multiple times with just companies that I even work with now, and it's frustrating, but it is something that's just part of the job. You do just have to reach out multiple times and follow up as much as you can. When you do start reaching out to companies, I highly suggest reaching out to as many as you can. There's no point in reaching out to only like 3 or 4 at a time and just waiting for them to get back to you, when you could be reaching out to like 10, 15 at a time and then getting multiple jobs from that, because you will be able to handle it. I would just reach out to as many companies as possible and kind of just set aside a day where you do reach out to them and you do try to find more companies to reach out to so you can improve your work and expand your portfolio. Now let's get into pricing. Pricing is a difficult one to talk about because everybody has their different ways of pricing their work, and nobody really gives you a concrete value of, hey, your work is worth this much, because it is kind of subjective, because not everybody's gonna see the worth in photography. That being said, you need to figure out how much to price your work, and you need to figure that out before you start reaching out to companies, because otherwise they're gonna reach out to you and say like, hey, yeah, we like your work, let's work together, and you're gonna be super excited, like, okay, this is my first job, and then you're gonna end up underpricing your work oftentimes, and you're going to be kicking yourself later on for it because you know that you could have gotten so much more for it. Don't be afraid of coming off greedy if you ask for more money than they're willing to spend, because at the end of the day, people spend a lot of money on photography because it actually does produce results. So do your research, find out what level you're really shooting at, and then price it accordingly, because you will regret it if you underprice your work. There's different ways that you can price your work, whether that's hourly, per shoot, per image. People do monthly rates, people do daily rates. There's so many ways that you can go about pricing your work, and you kind of need to work with the company to figure out which is best. So have a couple different models available so they can maybe set up a package with you or have you on retainer, and just there's a lot of different like contracts that you can set up with companies. So I would highly recommend you have something ready in each of those categories so you can cater to the company's needs, whether that's they want a certain amount of images a month, or they want you to come in for a certain number of shoots a week, all that sort of stuff. You want to be just as prepared as you can. So get those numbers ready and kind of figure out what you're wanting to price them at. That way you can be as prepared as possible. Last thing on the pricing, just don't be afraid to price your work at what you actually believe it's worth. Even though it might seem a bit expensive to you, and especially when you pitch that price to a company, it might seem a bit daunting because you're worried about their response. Companies definitely have enough in their budget to be paying you what you're asking. Oftentimes, you're not even asking for super high prices for what food photographers typically charge. It's just that companies don't often know the value in what you're offering, so then they're gonna be a bit hesitant to accept the numbers that you're giving them. Don't let this deter you, because a company that would actually appreciate your work and be good to work with won't hesitate to recognize the value in your work, and they won't shy away from the prices that you give them because they know it's worth it and they know that their budget will be well spent. Once you are hired, one of the most important things that you can do is just be a good communicator, because oftentimes these companies are not very good at communicating. Like I said earlier, they take a long time to get back to you even from the beginning. So just step up and be that form of communication that's lacking from them, because I mean, they do have a lot of other stuff going on. I'm not saying it's necessarily an excuse, but just step up and be the good communicator, because it will serve you better, because you can be more organized if you're taking the initiative and setting things up. And then it will be impressive to them, and they will think, I can't operate without this girl, and I can't hire someone else because it just won't work, because she's just such a good communicator. She takes care of herself, she takes care of all this stuff, and then it will work out a lot better for you. Another thing to remember is once you get jobs and once you keep getting food photography gigs at different companies, you need to make sure that you're still doing your personal work and still practicing and still developing a wide range of skills in the field. For instance, you can't just decide that since you got a job with this one company who prefers very bright and light images, that's all you're going to be doing. You need to still practice different forms of food photography, whether that's really dark images, whether that's like blog photos, whether it's more product images. You need to widen your range of skills, because then you'll be able to apply to all these different companies and reach out to all these different companies that you can still improve their work, and you won't be limited to just the one area. And that will open up so many more options for you. So I would just highly recommend you keep practicing even when you have some jobs secured. And the last bit of advice I have for you is to just be confident in your own work. If you get some jobs, be confident in them, because they hired you for a reason. They like your work, they think you can bring value to the table. So just be confident in your own work. Don't shy away from a challenge. Don't shy away from a new shoot that they have for you. Just step up to the plate. You know you got this, and do well. That's all the tips I have for you guys today on first jobs, how to get them, how to reach out, and all of that. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, just anything at all, leave them down below in the comment section. I love to hear from you guys. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.